Hey guys, welcome to another review video, and it's a funny thing, but when I did the review for the Looney Tunes Collector's Choice Volume 1, which you can see right here, and I did that a few months after the release, so I was a little bit slack on that one, and I asked you guys what you wanted to see in Volume 2, and roughly a few days or a week or so after I released that video, they announced Volume 2, which, hey, I'm all happy for, but it was just definitely interesting timing there. And, speaking of interesting timing, see, I've got it right here, Volume 2 came out in December 12th in 2023, and, being in Australia and with the Christmas rush, I was like, yeah, it's probably not going to get to me till after Christmas, maybe in the new year or whatever, right? But, no, I got it, as you just saw, right here. It actually arrived about a week before Christmas, so I guess Amazon have really expanded or picked up their game, or I don't know. But anyway, I'm happy I got it. So with Volume 1, I did a review that also went through the journey leading up to that point, which I thought was quite fascinating, how there was all these different releases and so on. And it ended up being such a huge success that Warner Archive, of course, announced Volume 2. I mean, is it really that surprising? People want Looney Tunes on physical media. There's definitely a market for it. Even the Popeyes, which arguably is lesser popular than, say, the Tex Avery sets that came out, even they did pretty well. So there's definitely a market for these. And hey, keep them coming. We want classic animation on Blu-ray for sure. Now, unlike Volume 1, that had 20 cartoons, which is not a bad number. But for this one, there's 25. And my goodness, I'm glad they added the extra 5 there. So it's kind of like how the Platinum Collections had roughly 25 per disc anyway. So by getting these 2 volumes, it's sort of like you're getting a new Platinum Collection set. So that's pretty cool, I thought. Now, what exactly do we have in this particular volume? Well, let's go through the list of cartoons. So we first have Behind the Meatball, Brother Brat,
Let's not get nosy, Bob.
Catty Cornered,
Oh, Duddy! Look at that nice putty cat trying to cave me.
Cross Country Detours, Daffy's Southern Exposure,
Some soup or consomme, our chowder's good today. A T-bone bordelay, what is your order? You love our new green peas, our shrimp and cheddar cheese, and sherry if you please, a dear border.
Ding Dog Daddy,
Would you like to be my girl?
The Eager Beaver, Fair and Wormer, Finn and Caddy, From Hand to Mouse, Ghost Wanted, Greetings Bait,
Invigorating.
Amateur Night,
Hello, folks. Tonight is amateur night. Next we have...
She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes along. Yeah, she'll be coming round the mountain when she...
Hairbreadth Hurry.
I suppose you're expecting the Roadrunner. Well, he sprained the giblet cornering a sharp curve the other day, so I'm standing in for him.
A Hick, a Slick, and a Chick.
Daisy Lou!
Oh, hello, Elmo. I'd like you to meet Blackie.
Greetings, Elmo. Put her there.
Hiss and Make Up.
Now I want you two to kiss and make up. Come on. Come on.
A Hound for Trouble.
Atsamara, hey, Atsamara for you. You eat a raviola and a pasta fasola too. I'ma give you cacciatore and a pizza that's good to chew. Atsamara, you know like me, hey, Atsamara for you.
I Wanna Be a Sailor.
I don't want a cracker, see? I want to be a sailor like me pop, see?
The Leghorn Blows at Midnight.
Oh, do-da-dee.
Lickety Splat.
Meep, meep.
One Meat Brawl.
Now look, Mandrake. This is what we're hunting. Groundhog.
Yeah.
The Penguin Parade.
Did you ever hear the story about the two old mules in the army?
Rabbit Rampage.
My contract clearly states that I am always to be drawn as a rabbit. So if you don't want to get yourself in a peck of trouble, just... All right, okay, that's better. Holy codfish, look at my feet!
The Rebel Without Claws.
I thought I saw a damn Yankee cat.
And the Wacky Worm.
I'm a dear dreaming of a wonderful yoga.
Again, 25 cartoons, and I'm glad that they upped the number, and hopefully that will be the case for all future volumes. So, like Volume 1, this set contains a mix of transfers that were done for, well, HBO Max, now Max, and MeTV, but we also get two brand new transfers never before seen. So, first of all, let's discuss the two that were restored for this particular release, and they are for Brother Brat, directed by Frank Tashlin, and Ghost Wanted, directed by Chuck Jones. Now, like in the previous review, I'm not going to go too in-depth into the shorts themselves, because once I finish the Looney Tunes review project, they'll all be reviewed anyway, right? But I just wanted to go through the quality of those new restorations on this set. So, firstly, with Brother Brat, I've actually been waiting for that one for a long time, and I saw that one as a fair bit as a kid on VHS, and it's definitely a favourite of mine. And by the way, it's the first Porky where he finally gets to wear a pair of pants. That's actually true. But for whatever reason, this one seemed to have fallen through the cracks when it came to all those recent restorations that were done for the Max service. Although I think part of that might be due to its heavy World War II theme, so maybe it was just on the, let's not do that one, let's do these other more safer ones for the streaming service. And what's great about this restoration, aside from it, well, it looks amazing. I mean, what do you expect from the crew over at Warner Archive by this point, right? It also means that all of Frank Tashlin's 1940s output is now restored. Out of his entire filmography at Warner Brothers, there's only one left from his 30s output, and that's called The Major Lies Till Dawn. Sadly, due to its racial elements, it's probably not going to see a release, but who knows? Who knows? I don't know either way, but yeah, I think it's safe bet we won't be seeing that one restored for a long, long time. But what's really interesting is the restoration for Ghost Wanted. So to put it into perspective, this is an early Chuck Jones short where he was in this kind of Disney period where his shorts weren't as funny and there was slower pace, but they looked really amazing. And there was definitely a focus on animation acting, which surely he would have tried to emulate from watching the Disney shorts, because as Jones himself said, Disney were king. Who else are we going to follow, right? So this short had only been available as a washed out print for the longest time, and when I did the original commentary, which I have yet to redo, at the time of this recording at least, it didn't look that great. But this new restoration is simply breathtaking. And there was just so many details in there I didn't even notice the first time, and I'll definitely go through that once I redo that review. But in watching this, you might be mistaken in watching a Casper short here, and I don't blame you, but no, Chuck Jones did not create Casper, nor were the Casper shorts inspired by this, and I'm not going to go into the history here, I'll leave that for that review, but it's one of those very fascinating bits of coincidences in animation history, and I'm glad it's restored, and I'm glad it's on this disc, because, hey, this may not be the best cartoon ever. I recently rewatched it, and, thought it was okay. It's more visually impressive than funny, but I want everything restored, regardless of whether they're great or just okay, and yes, even the really bad ones too. Now, the other shorts here, the quality in terms of the restorations, it's a mixed bag, but not so much in a bad way, because these were sourced from previously done transfers, and they look fine on streaming, but I dare say they even look that touch better now being uncompressed on disc. And from what I see, those Photoshop title cards that were done, and I'm presuming they were done in the first place because of the whole widescreen thing where people might have actually had the shorts cropped for whatever reason. You shouldn't crop these, but anyway. But looks like that they've been fixed by simply zooming in, and honestly, if it looks the same as the original title cards, that's fine. Would I have preferred them maybe to go back and restore the title cards directly from the actual film elements? Yeah, but that's going to cost extra money, and I guess if it looks the same, it's fine. After all, it is the cartoons that's the most important thing here, right? So, and one of the more interesting quote-unquote complaints were the people were like, oh, but Rabbit Rampage was on disc before. I thought this was all new to disc. The confusion there is that these ones are new to disc, but new to disc restored. So some of these other cartoons have been on disc before, but unrestored. So yeah, it's great to see them now properly looking like they actually should be, right? Few things I did notice about this set, and I don't want to sound really negative here, because really, I still highly recommend the set. I mean, spoiler alert, that's what I was going to say at the end, right? But the Eager Beaver looks like it's a bit out of sync with the audio. I don't know if that's just something that's baked into the elements. I don't know if it's an issue with the authoring.
You see that nice, big, tall tree over there? Well, why don't you chop that tree down? You see that nice, big, tall tree over there? Well, why don't you chop that tree down?
And also, the Looney Tunes theme on Daffy's Southern Exposure plays really fast, and again, I don't know if that was always there or if it was an error. I don't know, but it is something I just wanted to point out that I did notice. But easily the worst picture on this one has to be for the Wacky Worm. I would really like to know what happened here, as when this first came out on streaming, it didn't look so good, so maybe they were going to redo it, but it's clearly the same transfer. But it's similar to the subpar looking Hold the Line Please, and I'm thinking that maybe it's just due to the transfer not being in good shape, and they had to use an inferior print to at least get it looking somewhat respectable. And look, it's watchable. It's not awful, but I think when you're spoiled by all these wonderful, amazing transfers that also appear in this disc, well, you can't help it. Be a little bit let down, but who knows? Hey, at least it's on disc and it's still watchable. Now, I like when you put this disc in, unlike Volume 1, it actually plays the shorts in alphabetical order. Now, I was always going to rip these into files for myself and put it on my media server, because that's what I do. I like to have everything in nice order that way and pick whatever cartoons I want to watch at any time. So it's like my personal media server. Now, I like how it's like a random mix where you just put the disc in and just plays all these different shorts, and you're not having the same characters over and over and over again. Now, as for the choices for this volume, look, much like Volume 1, you got that nice variety, and it's a wider scope this time round. So now you finally get some 30s shorts included here, unlike in the first set. And we go all the way up until the early 60s. So for those who are hoping for Cool Cat on Blu-ray, sorry, you miss out once again. But anyway, so we get some nice Tex Avery shorts for the first time on disc, and it's hard to think that how some of these even missed out on being in the original Golden collections, but anyway, whatever, that's in the past, of course. And we get a nice representation of the various Looney Tunes characters, Roadrunner, you get Foghorn Leghorn, and Daffy's, and so on. But you also get a whole bunch of Jones one-shots that appeared to have been his attempt for a series for him, but that never worked out for whatever reason until finally Pepe Le Pew and Roadrunner did it for him. And we get 2 Bugs Bunny shorts here, and the choices are interesting because Rabbit Rampage was sort of like a redo of sorts of the classic Daffy Duck short, Duck Amuck. And you've also got Hairbreadth Hurry, which pairs Bugs with Wile E. Coyote, but in a traditional Roadrunner short. And, when I get to the Rabbit Rampage in my review, I will discuss it further in depth, but I think offhand it's the only Bugs short in the 50s where he loses. Like, it's similar to some of his earlier 40s shorts where they were still trying to figure out his character. So it's a fascinating watch. It's not the best, but it's still something that's definitely interesting part of his history. But I think one of the most bizarre shorts on this set, has to be Hairbreadth Hurry. And on the Extras podcast, which I highly recommend you guys subscribe to if you haven't, it's a great podcast, and Jerry Beck makes a good point about it that I didn't even realize, and when I rewatched it with this in mind, I'm like, oh, okay, I think he's onto something, but he says he has a suspicion that this was originally going to be some sort of a wraparound sequence for the Bugs Bunny show, because the first few seasons of that show, there were wraparound sequences done by the 3 units at the time, and then they would put the shorts for people to obviously watch. And later on, after a few seasons, it would just go to Saturday mornings and you just see the shorts being played. But in watching Hairbreadth Hurry, you could sort of see where they might have maybe dropped in the shorts, making another episode of that show. So maybe they just did that and it wasn't going to be used for any other season, so they just reworked it into a short. I don't know. Information lost to time, but I thought it was definitely fascinating. And we get the complete Jerry Colonna worm on this set. Yay, I guess. I have no idea why it never took off. I wonder why. But just think that there might be some alternate universe where this worm character took off instead of Bugs Bunny. That would be pretty interesting, but anyway. But as for the audio is a mixed bag, but to be fair, I mean, this set covers multiple decades, and also various shorts have been in various states of, deterioration, I guess. With the older shorts not sounding as crisp as the ones from the 1960s, but at least we don't have a situation where something's maybe in too low of a pitch or anything of that nature, so they sound fine for what they are, so no issues there. Sadly, like Volume 1, there's no extras, and it's a shame we can't get at least a few audio commentaries, and I get that budgets are tight on these things. I'm aware of all of that. You're not going to get a massive documentary about the Jerry Colonna worm or anything, although, now that I mention it, I'm sure a lot of you guys would have loved to have had that, right? But anyway, it would have been nice to maybe have, Jerry and George on a few tracks and that, but look, honestly, it's not that big a deal, and getting these things on disc is the number one priority, so we will just have to make do without any new extras. And I guess part of that was we were so spoiled on those Golden collections that not having any extras on these ones is just a bit of a letdown, but whatever. So what's my verdict on this one? I mean, look, I said before, definitely get this, definitely. And of course Volume 1 if you don't have it. In fact, Volume 1 is such a dirt cheap price. It's only a few bucks from what I've seen a few times, so definitely get both. It's just like getting a new Platinum Collection volume just without any extras. So, and it would be nice, if we can get 2 or 3 volumes per year, it'll be like getting whole new Platinum Collections every single year, which would be pretty cool. So Volume 3, though, has already been announced. So it's nice to see that these things are pretty popular. But they haven't announced the shorts yet. So, like last time, I mean, what do you want to see in a new volume? Now, whether it's something already restored that was on streaming or something that needs to be restored. Now, for me, for something that needs to be restored, Screwball Football. That is one of those little gems of Tex Avery short that is just gets me every single time, and it has one of the darkest endings in Looney Tunes history, involving a baby with a gun, and I'll say no more because I won't want to spoil it. And of course, in terms of what's already been restored, there's some other Tex Avery shorts like, you know, Cinderella Meets Fella, that sort of thing I'd like to see on disc. But I do like to also see some of the earlier Merry Melody shorts, because I think it's good to see those, to see just how far the series had come later on once Tex Avery arrived in the picture, and seeing the state of things before 1936. But I do like these volumes, how you get the nice mix of various characters, and they're going to eventually run out of Bugs Bunny shorts that are considered safe anyway, so yeah, we'll see what they're going to do with these future sets, but there's still a few hundred left to put on these sets that are safe anyway, so yeah, hopefully they'll keep going with a few new restorations, plus whatever has not been released on physical media. But yeah, like I said, definitely get the set. But thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, take care.